Newsfirst, face to face with Jamal Ratnayaka.
Good evening and welcome to this Monday's edition of Face to Face, coming to you direct from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Jamal Ratnayaka for the Newsfirst team. This evening, my guest is Member of Parliament representing the main opposition of the country, the Samagi Jana Balawege, Harshana Rajakaruna. A very good evening to Mr. Rajakaruna and welcome on the show.
Thank you. Good evening to you, Jamal.
So, Mr. Rajakaruna, let's get the ball rolling on the SJB's recent protest that was held last week. We saw many masses converging in Colombo and holding a protest mainly surrounding the greater Colombo area, centering the Viharamadevi Park and so on. But as we have seen as a common theme in most protests over the past few months, again, there was heavy resistance from security forces. You all were tear gassed, water cannons were unleashed on the protesters. Even the opposition leader we saw was hit by several tear gas canisters and so on. So overall, do you believe that that protest on that day was a success on the 30th of January?
Thank you for having me. Yes, I think it was very well organized. It was, there were so many people participated to this protest.
Right.
Everybody joined hands. So there was a lot of enthusiasm, even in the grassroots level,
right,
when we said that we are organizing such a thing and we need you all to come, and they were very enthusiastic about it. And we all knew that there'll be heavy resistance. That's what they have done in this government. They have never let anybody protest against the government. So there were, I think, over 25,000 people who attended this protest. We all got together in Viharamadevi, near Viharamadevi Park, and we were walking towards on Dharma Palamavata.
Right.
And so there was we were anyway expecting a large number of police and army and officials, officers, but I can remember we were in the in the forefront of it, and it was the opposition leader on my right side, and there was the General Secretary, Mr. Mantu Bandara, then there was Mujibur Marika and few other MPs. And even before we got anywhere close to the barricades, there was that water cannons right on us, the opposition leader, that means, because I was right next to the opposition leader, and it was right on us, and not even few seconds after that there were tear gas. And it was a very peaceful march. It was a very valid march. We were protesting against the VAT increase and the online bill and whatever the undemocratic activities that's happening, and that is happening 100% because of this Ranil Rajapaksa government. So it was a huge success, but it's sad that this military, the police is used in such a manner. The poor police officers on the ground, they can't do anything.
They are merely executing orders. Because
they are just merely executing orders from the top. It was one after the other, so they just didn't allow. There was tear gas, shots fired, like
multiple rounds,
so many times. But I think we were expecting it, and we are waiting for an election.
Right. So staying on that topic, following the protest and the days after the protest, one notable absentee during that protest was the chairman of the Samagi Jana Balawege, Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca. And 2 or 3 days after that protest, during a media briefing, the Field Marshal said that he does not condone a certain member that was welcomed to the Samagijana Balawegaya in recent weeks. And when the journalists asked the Field Marshal about what he thinks that the protest's outcome was, he said that he would have personally, if it was handed to him, he would have organized a better protest. So if there are dissenting views within the Samagijana Balawegaya itself, it does not reflect well to the outside, does it? Especially the main opposition in the country, who are vying to take control of the country, who are expecting to take the reins of the country over when it comes to election season. So what is your candid view on that, Mr. Rajakaruna?
I think, I mean, I don't need to speak out. The opposition leader yesterday and day before, both days, he did mention about and also replied and commented on this. So, I mean, my personal view is that there might be different opinions, different views on particular things, but you know, if there is especially something negative to say, I wouldn't do a press conference and say it.
Right.
I would talk within the group meeting, within the working committee, and give our opinion there. So I don't want to talk too much about it, but I don't agree with what Sarath Fonseca said. I think it was a very successful protest, and we all have a duty, and I may think that he should act responsibly and speak. Right. You know, you can have your personal opinions, but have your personal opinions not in public.
The collective sentiments of the party has to take place first.
Of course. I think I don't approve. It's not anything personal against him, but I don't think anybody should, especially the main office bearers of an organization.
Right.
So I think the leader of our party has very clearly said that you know, when you make a collective decision, so that collective responsibility should be there. It might, might not personally
see eye to eye with some of the decisions.
Yeah, some decisions I might not agree. But when it's a collective decision, when it's a party decision, we should abide by it. If not, you know, you have your own party, or you can be the leader. Your wife can be the deputy leader, or you know, you can have your own thing. But when it's a large political party, you might not agree on everything. But you have to have collective
responsibility. It's about compromise, isn't it? Right. So let's talk beyond. Let's talk talk about the coming months, especially if there is a presidential election that is announced. We see that Sajid Premadasa, the opposition leader, is going to be your presidential candidate. But this time around, there seems to be a war on many fronts when it comes to the SLPP, when it comes to the SLFP, when it comes to the Jatika Jana Balawegaya, mainly of the JVP. So how does the SJB differentiate itself from all of these political parties, and how can the SJB convince the masses to vote for the SJB in their presidential election campaign instead of any of those other parties, Mr. Rajakaruna?
SJB is a new party led by the opposition leader, Honorable Sajid Premadasa. So when it's about 3.5 years old, so when we when we came for an election, when we faced the very first election, we were chosen as the main opposition. I think that's quite an achievement. And now the country has you know, seen that being in the opposition, we have done quite a lot. We have a very honest, hard-working leader and an excellent team. So I believe that people perceive in that sense. A hard-working, honest, efficient leader with a good team. So I believe that if we get the mandate, and I'm quite confident that we will, that we can deliver a far better job than any other political parties. You know that the SLPP has failed. You know, the UMP is nowhere close to anything. SLFP is again a lost cause. NPP, there's some sort of an increase, but I am 100% sure that they are not capable. I have nothing personal against any of them. Just that their policies, you know, it's a socialist party. NPP is a camouflage JVP. It's a socialist party, and that socialism is not working in this world. There's not a single country. If the Sri Lankans want Sri Lanka to be a North Korea, okay, then vote for JVP. But I mean, we value democracy. We value capitalism is a human face. I think that those policies are the policies that should be in Sri Lanka, not socialism, not socialist policies. So I really hope that Sri Lankans will make the right choice.
Okay, so let's assume hypothetically that the SJB does secure power at the upcoming presidential election. What would the first order of business of the SJB be? We know that there have been, let's talk about the legislative landscape. Over the past few months, there have been very questionable laws that have been passed in Parliament. We know that the ATA or the ATB, the anti-terrorism bill, has once again resurfaced. The Online Safety Act was brought into law by the Speaker's signature because it was endorsed last week. So these are all very controversial laws and have been so for some time. So what sort of decisions will the SJB make in terms of the legislative landscape, in terms of repealing all of these acts? Will they be repealed, Mr. Rajakaruna?
Definitely we will have to amend and change those laws that hinder democracy. That is a promise that we will definitely do that. But the problem is that whether we can do it in this parliament.
Yes.
So, I mean, as you know, we have just over 50 MPs and we don't even have a majority in this parliament. You need 130 or more to have a majority. So I think while understanding that you know, we need to change these laws. We need to amend these bills. We will have to go for a parliamentary election as soon as possible. So I think with having the parliament dissolved and going for a parliamentary election and having a majority, we'll be able to do those changes as we discuss.
Right. The opposition leader has been critical about some of the IMF conditions that Sri Lanka has agreed to. He even met the special the rapporteur in charge of Sri Lanka, Peter Brewer, when he was down in Sri Lanka a couple of months ago. So what sort of discussions have taken place with the IMF team? And if the SJB does secure power, what sort of discussions will take place then to change some of these conditions to make life easier for Sri Lankans overall and make these terms more favorable for Sri Lanka while aiming for sustainable development?
So I was part of that delegation. We met the IMF delegation a few times, I think 3 to 4 times. And we were very open. We clearly told Peter and his team that we don't agree with all these conditions. And when we come to government, we will renegotiate and we will change some of the conditions. But of course, we are the ones who very first said that we need to go to IMF. And it was the SLPP Rajapaksa government who were totally against it. And unfortunately they went late, and that was probably the main reason that they had to agree to all these
regressive conditions,
very hard conditions. Yes. And we believe that we have to reduce the tax rate. Maybe we should go up to at minimum income of at least 1 million.
Right.
So we need to do some changes, and that we will negotiate with IMF. By no means we are not against IMF. Some political parties, for example, the NPP or JVP, they say that they don't want IMF. But what's the solution? They don't say. And just because people should understand, it's not the $2.9 billion that we are getting
from the IMF.
It is the confidence building when we are with the IMF program, that other organizations and other countries, they will have confidence with Sri Lanka and work with Sri Lanka. So that is
business.
That is the reason that we should go to IMF.
Right.
Not 2.9 billion will not save us.
Yes.
Right. We are so much in debt, but that is not the only solution. But that is a critical thing that we need to do.
Right. So my guest tonight was Member of Parliament representing the SJB, Mr. Harshana Rajakaruna. We spoke about a lot of things ranging from politics to the economy to what the SJB's aspirations are if and when they do come to power. Thank you very much for joining me this evening, Mr. Rajakaruna, and sharing your very open views about the political landscape and everything regarding Sri Lanka today.
Thank you very much.
And that's the way it was on Face to Face. Thank you for stopping by. Take care and good night.
බින්දුවටම ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරපු සමහර දේශපාලන ප්‍රවාහයන් ආයෙනවා. කලාව නාවයි. ඒකෙත් කලාවක් තියෙනවා. ඒක කලාව. ඒ මොකක්ද ඒක? කොහොමද ඒක කියවන්නේ?
තරුණයෝ ඉල්ලුවේ සිස්ටම් චේන්ජ් එකක්. ඒක උනේ නෑනේ.
ඒක හදන්න මිනිස්සු ඉන්නව නැත්තේ නෑ. IMF එකෙන් ණය ගත්ත හැකි. ඔව්. ආර්ථික කඩාවැටීම. මේ සංස්කෘතික කඩාවැටීම සිදු වුණාන් පස්සේ අපි කාගෙන්ද ණයට ගන්න කියන ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙනවා.
හරි කරගෙන කාට හරි ගෙයිමක් දී